So I'm Barbara Whalen. I'm the IBEST manager at Edmonds Community College. I case manage all the IBEST students from intake to completion and beyond. If you know Edmonds Community College, a lot of our students that do start in IBEST, we have approximately now 88% of our students do stay and complete higher degrees. Our first cohort of IBEST students in 2004 who began in CEN completed their associate's degrees. One of them is actually continuing to a 4-year degree, and that kind of continued on with all of our other programs. We currently run now 7 programs in the campus, and at any given time there are about 350 or more students that I case manage. Some of them are currently IBEST, some are former IBEST, now moving on to a higher certificate. Some, you know, are in and out, maybe going for the 4-year, but they don't want to leave. Just with the case management that we built and the cohorts that they've met, they continue to communicate with those students that are coming in. So a lot of peer mentoring is happening. I started seeing this, so with our IBEST students, we do have them all in a Keys to Success class, and they're all enrolled in this class all year long. Not necessarily in the class, but they're enrolled in the Blackboard shelf all year long, the entire time that they're in IBEST, the entire time as long as they'd like to be. It's kind of that subscribe, unsubscribe Blackboard shell. Within that Blackboard shell, let's see, after the 2nd year we're running IBEST, I have, I didn't think I'd bring that up, but if you'd like, I can bring up that Blackboard shell. It's the same one, and in there are tabs for study skills, job search. Weekly I post the job opportunities within Snohomish County. There's also an opportunity for discussion, you know, the discussion forum portal where you can start threads. What I was seeing, the first prompt or thread that I started was introduce yourself. After going through the study skills tab and learning about your multiple intelligence, talk about that. And invite others to talk to you about study skills. And since we had a huge population of students that were former IBEST, and then all these new students coming in, what I started to see were old students who are now working on their associate's degree saying, welcome to IBEST. You are in the greatest program ever. In fact, here are all my notes. Here are all my homework assignments. Here are everything that you could ask from me. I mean, we had students that were kind of just guiding other students through the process. If you need to study for, I don't know, medical terminology, I completed that class 3 or 4 quarters ago. I can help you with that. And they talked about what they struggled with, and then we had, I was just hearing this from students that former students were running groups in the library and tutoring sessions. And it all began with the networking that they created in Blackboard. And I was just like, something's happening here. Something magical is happening here. So I wanted to explore other opportunities for students to network and create cohorts among themselves. So tried Twitter, people followed but not really. And then I tried Facebook, and a lot of people followed, but after researching Facebook and how you get friends, because I don't have a lot of friends on my personal Facebook, and I rarely use it, I really had to figure out, how does this work for people? How does it work as a marketing tool or a networking tool? It works if you don't talk about work. It works if you talk about mundane, day-to-day things. So it works if I get on Facebook and I show myself as a person. So I would go through little trends, and for a month I'll just talk about financial aid is due, time to register, no likes, maybe a couple. Definitely no comments back. If there were comments back, what would happen is I would get this influx of emails in my inbox saying, you know, I saw on Facebook that you post about financial aid, I have all these questions. And then all the questions were the same, you know, so you get 20 emails from all these students asking all the same questions about financial aid. Well, how could I address that? I couldn't. And then they weren't even liking me on Facebook. So when they were liking me, it is pouring outside, you know, or what a day, I can't wait to hit the beach, or, you know, have a great summer, or is anyone else here, hello, and they love those. I would get like 100 likes, you know, because I'd be like, hello, nobody's coming to visit me in my office, and then like 100 likes. I'm like, what is going on, right? So I went back to the Blackboard thing, but within Blackboard, what happens is you start a thread, and like, you know, weaving or sewing, it just continues a thread, you know, and then to find like the end of the, you know, or where you began, you'd have to go and search, and then it took like too long to figure out where you even started, or, you know, knitting, crocheting, like where did you make your mistake? Forget it, I'll just unravel the whole thing and start all over again. So then we'd have like multiple threads, the same thing, and I was like, there's gotta be a better way. There's gotta be like a Facebook, but for the classroom or for counseling. So I went off and I did research, and there's a site called Piazza. And you could do all the research on Piazza and how it began, but what Piazza is it's a real-time feedback forum. Typically, no, what it's made for is for instructors to continue that conversation outside of class. So if you go through, and I won't do it now, but you can go through the demo class, and it'll show you, for example, a math instructor who is continuing the conversation after hours. A student comes back and says, you know what, I didn't get that formula at all. And there are opportunities, if you can see here at the top, where you can even put in mathematical equations, symbols. And in real time, anybody, it's not just the instructor, but anyone can provide input. You'll see here students answer. There's also instructor answer. So it's like, I wonder if I could use this but not tell them I'm running a class, right? Because if you create a class, you have to state your college, the quarter you're in, the name of your class, how long it runs, enroll a certain population. So I thought it was breaking the rules, but I break them all anyway. So I just created a class and just told them I ran it winter 2011, I think, is the first time I ran this class. So what I'll do is I'll show you. Piazza is free. It's open source, and it's used by Harvard, MIT, University of Illinois, big ticket schools, but it, like I said, it has only been used for instructors to run class and to garner sort of peer mentoring within their classroom. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that first class. As you see, it looks kind of like Facebook. Okay, and when I started, so you go all the way to the first, starts off with questions, but I enrolled, I can go back and see how many I enrolled, or did I oh, 0 enrolled, but 234 students were enrolled in the class. Okay, and again, this was former IBEST students, new IBEST students, and it was in the winter. What I did to prepare the students is I got on Blackboard and I said, you know, we're going to try something new. This discussion forum is not working for us, and you keep emailing me, and that I cannot do. Because you know I'm never in my office, right? So, invited them to all join Piazza and open up this class. So, welcome to the class, and it was winter, you know, so right there I'm testing the site to review opportunities where students can share experiences, conversations, and ideas about success on campus and on campus. And at first, it took a while, because students were like, why do you keep sending me these pizza coupons? You know? It was hard for them to even think, you know, Piazza, what is that? You know? And so it took a lot of guidance. They'd send me an email, and I'd kick it back and say, great question. Can you post on Piazza? Here's the link. They'd send me, you know, I was still on Facebook, so they're like, where are you? And I'm like, now you're liking me? Too bad, I'm now on Piazza. Here's the link. So a lot of guidance and reiteration, visiting classes, who's on Piazza yet. And then I started posting questions, you know. In the beginning, I would cut and paste those questions that were emailed to me. I would let them know I'd post that question on Piazza and respond to it in Piazza. So if you wanted the response, you'd have to look there. So this first question was, I completed my FAFSA, but when do I have to do it for next quarter? You know, it's a learning curve, so students were just like, maybe I'll just respond. So one answer is, I completed my FAFSA. I then, you know, would explain the FAFSA and continue it from there. It continued to students then talking about graduation requirements, if you can see up here, how do I find a job, and there's one. So someone asked about pronunciation communication help. A student answered and said, you know what, you should find Nancy Strong. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're getting it. And if you see here at the bottom, Jessica Colon, it took her 29 seconds to respond. As an instructor, I could give a thumbs up, thumbs down. I didn't even have to answer questions anymore. They were sharing information on here that I didn't even know they knew. I was in fact asking them to teach the class. I had students even come up to me and they're like, you haven't gone on Piazza yet. I'm like, I haven't even opened my desktop. And they're like, but you have a phone, right? There's a Piazza app. That's why you're answering in 29 seconds, because you're answering in class. I mean, they were using this tool in phenomenal ways.
So I have a question about, is this primarily, what kind of level do you feel this would be appropriate to put into? Now we have the on-ramp for ASL and EB. Is there kind of a level you get?
Once they're on it, it's for all levels. The questions on here, like you said, it's we were snowed in, you know, and it was just, does anyone know if I have class? Of course it's Jessica that says, what did you think to come? But I'll even notice that even our lowest level students will respond and they'll ask questions. The most difficult thing with our lower level students was getting over that pizza coupon. You know, it's not a pizza coupon and I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want you to be able to see where we're asking questions and asking in such a way where we could all benefit. The cool thing about this is after the findings, called Piazza up and said, you know what, I didn't tell you, but I'm actually not running a class. I'm running a cohort. It's actually peer mentoring. And they've changed the entire Piazza system so that you can now enroll. And after, so I did this in the winter, and they did a presentation on how they could do peer mentoring through Piazza, and the entire campus in South Africa enrolled there, all of their students. The difficulty they had, again, was with the pizza coupon, and realized that in their marketing strategy and communication, that's where they failed. So they're now trying to figure that out and how to send out Piazza throughout the campus and scale it up. But the good thing is now I can have a Piazza class. It's an ongoing class. It never ends. The failure in the first time was after winter quarter was over. On their side, they saw IBEST winter, you know? So you could start to see the statistics fall. So if you can see that, once winter quarter came to an end, all of a sudden, you know, the activity stopped because they thought that the class was over. Our statistics are now back up again. You know, our response rate right now is 10 minutes, not 29 seconds. Because they know now that I'll catch them and knock on the door in class and say, get off your phone. But it's remarkable. It's decreased traffic in our office by 80%. The students coming in and asking the same question over and over again. I guess that's it. Any questions?
Questions. I would be happy to run around. Mike. I'm not going to run. Who am I kidding?
Just a clarification. Okay, just a clarification. So did Piazza then create a way to do mentoring so you don't have to put in the quarter classes? I just want the clarification.
Yes, yes. When you create a class, you have the option to make it summer, fall, winter, spring, or other. So now our class is an other class. And again, it's a subscribe or unsubscribe. So I can go in there, and if they don't want to be on Piazza anymore or don't want to see it, I can take them off. I haven't had anyone. So now the class is 400. And some of them haven't been on campus for a year or so. So I don't know what they're doing with it. But I do still see like questions. People were asking about background checks. Where can I get them for free? And people will post. You can post links. You can upload anything you want, files. So people will upload old worksheets from before with information, and they're not even students.
Do you have an idea of how big of a group you would really want to have, or before you would need to start a second cohort, being able to go and do that? I mean, is there a scale that you think you're going to reach where you'll either have to start telling people you've been gone from the college too long, or start a separate one for graduates or something like that?
I thought about that, but again, what instigated this was seeing, and someone that's pursuing their associate's degree, I mean, this is probably a year after being out of IBEST, reach out to a brand new student that says, you know, I'm new, I just got in the IBEST program, this is my learning style, I'm so nervous. And that guy was just like, what's there to be nervous about? And they're still there. And so when I think about it, I mean, they only share things that are relevant. I mean, I don't see anyone that are going for their associate's degree really posting anything or asking questions or creating polls or anything. They're just answering questions. And then I just give thumbs up or thumbs down.
When you said you can upload anything, can you upload like videos or pictures and that sort of stuff too?
Yep, yep. So, and then it's real time. So I could have Piazza open on my computer all day. I don't, because I get the alerts on my phone. In fact, I got two while I was parking. So, but yeah.
One of my questions would be, how often do you check that, and do you now work 24 hours a day?
In the beginning, I mean, with 29-second responses, I was like, oh my gosh. The phone will go off like at midnight. My response then was go to sleep. You know, and also taught them something. Like, we don't study 24 hours a day. I mean, you have to be awake tomorrow for your classes. So, I mean, there was a learning curve there as well. I do tell them I check it once a week, but they also know I have now the app on my phone. So I was just alerted there's 2 messages. I haven't responded to those messages. It's like Facebook, you know, but I'll probably check it when I get to the office today.
One more question, Ann's quick, right?
Yeah. Do you ever ask questions out there? Do you ever say, is there anybody out there that has been out of school for a year, and what do you do?
I haven't asked that poll, but there is opportunity here. So this is an inactive class, but on the new class there you can see there's a and you can change your page to look however you want. But when you post you create a post, you have an opportunity to make it a poll, a question, or just a new post. And so I've created polls before as to how many people have completed their FAFSA. So you can do that, and then you can see how successful you've been at getting them to complete the FAFSA or register or things like that.
Thank you so much. We have to move on. Oh, I know, just one more. We have to move on though, but we'll have information so we can ask more questions afterward, okay? Because thank you very much, Barb. Thank you.